Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and I want to show y'all how I make one of our new Cabochon colors for our fused glass that we send out in our craft-along kits as well as sell in our weekly shop updates. We're going to be starting with a base of medium grain Hydrangea opal, and this is 96 COE, but I'm sure these effects would work for you if you're using bullseye glass or something of the sort as well. So I'm not weighing because, well, I don't have my scale on hand. I'm just using a half teaspoon scoop, and I'm going to do 2 generous scoops into the base of each mold here. I have generously sprayed the ceramic mold with a product called Zip. It's ZYP. It's a high temperature lubricant, like boron nitride based. Be sure to wear your respirator. I've demonstrated how to spray in previous tutorials, but I do like 4 coats. It's just like spray paint. You don't want to do it so heavy that it's dripping. You just want to do a fair coat, let it dry, do another coat, let it dry. There we go. And I'm going to kind of shake that to level it out. And now I'm going to come through with Grape transparent. This is medium grain as well. I really like, this is not sponsored at all, but I do love artglasssupplies.com. They are where I get my zip, my molds, my frit. I also shop from Delphi Glass, but I always go to Art Glass Supplies first, and anything that I can't find there, then I'll go and get from Delphi. Just they have a fantastic selection and price point for their frit and stuff. So I'm going to use about a half a scoop or so of this Grape transparent, and I'm just going to sprinkle in from one edge and kind of start going a little more lightly in, because I'd like to give like a gradient. Then I'm going to go a little heavier and sprinkle in, and then you don't have to feel obligated to use the whole scoop. And then I'm going to very gently encourage these little stragglers back into the mold cavity. And then I'm going to come through and do that same thing on the other side. And then I wanted to show you all kind of the difference between, in one of these I'm going to use some dichro frit as well, and just kind of show the different effects that you can get in how that looks. There we go. Now my dichro frit I do get from Delphi Glass, and this is not its original packaging, but it is Dichro Magic Frit. I just kind of put it in another container, and I have some coarse and fine, maybe? I don't know. I have 2 different sizes of grit, or 2 grits of frit, rather, mixed in here. And I'm going to use almost a full scoop. Like, dichro can be a little pricey, but man alive, is it worth it. And I'm just going to sprinkle this in. Now you can also get very similar results using like resin and flakes and stuff, but I've turned to doing almost all of my work in fused glass because it doesn't yellow the way that resin does. Even the highest quality resins I've been able to find still yellow. The glass doesn't. It'll be just as beautiful 50 years from now as what it is the day it comes out of the kiln. Also, it is color fast. You don't have to worry about colors fading of like the additives and things. Even if you leave it out in the sun, I've found for a lot of these things it holds up just fine. And it's super durable, so you don't have to worry about it scratching as easily and stuff, and it also polishes up really well. And I'm going to come through with some coarse clear frit. This one I get from Delphi Glass as well, and there will be links to everything down in the video description. And I'm going to go like scoop, 2, 3. Yeah, I think 3 generous scoops will get us where we're going. And I'm being very careful here to not let the glass touch the sides, because sometimes it can carry some of that boron nitride into, you know, as it melts. It kind of, if you've ever watched a pot of boiling water, how it kind of, like, that convection happens. That happens with your frit as well. So things don't necessarily stay put where you put them. At least not for me. And I will have our firing schedule down in the video description below as well. And we may not be able to fit a whole 1/3 scoop in here, but I'm gonna try, because whenever we have dichro, I try to have it all capped with clear. That way the metal won't float to the surface as much. It's a cool effect. It's not my favorite. We've had some folks specifically request that effect, so to each their own. I'm gonna put a little bit more on this side because it's just like a glass of like ice. If you fill the glass all the way up to the top and then let it melt, it's gonna, you know, the water line's gonna have dropped from where the ice was. Now, the glass isn't, you know, expanded water that's frozen into ice, but it does have all of these air pockets around all of our little pieces of frit here. And as it melts, it's going to fill in those gaps and settle. So you do want to have this mounded up quite a bit so that whenever it melts down, it will exceed its surface tension and fill out the shape of the mold. Glass wants to settle at around 6 millimeters thick. So you want to have enough in there that it'll melt down and then push out. Otherwise, it'll just puddle. Even if you have it in a mold, if you don't fill up enough glass, you'll end up with just a pretty little circle puddle. So I'm going to move the tripod so that you can get a perspective from the side. So here you can see how far up it's mounded over the edge of the mold. And I'm just going to pop this into the kiln. So this is my Paragon 16 CS, I think that's the acronym for it. It's got a 16-inch bed. It's a brick-lined kiln. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic, especially like we've used it every day for a little over a year now, and it's just been perfect. And we also have some little kiln posts to stack it up because you want that heat to be able to circulate evenly, even though I'm going to be putting 2 layers in here. So I'm just going to place our mold in, and I'm going to fill up this base layer with molds, but then we're going to do a kiln shelf and do some puddle melts on the top. So I'll show you what this looks like whenever we have it fully filled, and then I will meet you guys back here after that, showing how it looks after firing. So we have the kiln all full, and I'm going to come in with a kiln shelf. This is a 12-inch kiln shelf. I think I'll have linked down in the video description of where I got it. I think it was like Ceramic Warehouse or something, but I wanted a kiln shelf that left a little bit of a window on the side for or a space on the side for air to circulate. I do have a 15-inch kiln shelf as well that we use for whenever we're doing our own sheet melts, but I don't use it for whenever we're doing multi-layer. I really need the heat to be able to come down and reach these molds on the bottom. And I don't know if you can see, but here on my kiln, I have top heating elements. So again, I really need that heat to be able to go all the way down. So I'm going to put on some kiln paper, load this up with some tiles to puddle, and then put it into its firing schedule, which will be down in the video description. Okay, so it is the following day. I have run the kiln, and it is at about 133 degrees. So I'm gonna open it up. Ooh, these are looking good. Oh my. So here you can see, this is how we do the top layer. Now, I've had folks be very helpful and leave comments about, potential improper annealing by having kiln shelves in place. We haven't had any problems with this because I leave it for a long soak every time we bring it up to the next temperature. We leave it there for about 2 hours, and then we also do where we bring it down and we leave it there, for about 2, sometimes 3 hours if we have kind of a lot going on. But we've never had any problems with our glass. We've never had anybody report problems with our glass. And that's something that if y'all have ever used our glass and do have problems, please let us know, because we can't fix it and make it right unless you let us know. But that being said, Our firing schedule is down in the video description. And I'm going to let this cool off the rest of the way, and then we'll take off this top shelf and see what's next. We've taken off the top kiln shelf, and this is how our cabs have come out. Which, there's still quite a bit of heat coming off of them, so I'm letting them cool the rest of the way. But then we're gonna, once they've cooled sitting here in their molds, we will take them outside where I mask up and remove the glass from the mold. So I'm outside and masked up, so I don't know if you can hear me very well, but this is how it looks. And they just fall out of the mold. The molds need cleaned. You can see it's leaving a little bit of that on the back. But this is how the dichro looks. Oh, that's so pretty. And this is how just a plain looks. I'm going to take these inside, get them cleaned up, and then meet you back here. So here you can see the cleaned cabs. Let's get some of the water off of them. And I absolutely love the bubbles. Look at that, they're almost even. And then with the opaque background and that translucent grape on top, so pretty. And then here we have with the dichro. Oh, dichro is life. I love it. Absolutely love it. So these are going to be for sale up on our website. I'm also making a bunch more for popping into our craft along kits with our craft along club. Links for everything are down in the video description below. If you guys are watching this during the premiere, hey, how's it going? Thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys are watching this in the future and you wanted to have been watching it during the premiere, be sure to sign up for our newsletter, because we send out the streaming links every time we have a new tutorial or a live stream or a shop update or just anything like that. And we also send out coupons and all sorts of stuff through our newsletter. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and until next time, happy crafting. Mwah! Bye.